Hey everyone, I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you have had a wonderful week. For those of you who tune in every single Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, thank you so much for tuning back in here. We're here live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. For those of you who are brand new to Mental Health Moment, welcome. It's Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. Thanks so much for joining. Mental Health Moment is all about how do you become the best version of who you are so you can show up powerfully for yourself and for the people around you. And if you are tuning in to Dr. Nikisha Hammond YouTube for the replay of this video, welcome. Thank you so much for joining today. Be sure to like this video, share, and subscribe to the page. And thanks for those who are starting to join here. Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. Let me know in the comments where you are tuning in from. I am in the Tampa Bay area of Florida today, where it is, I think it was in the 80s today, you all, which is so nice for December. I don't want to brag because I live in Florida and it's really nice to be in warm weather. For those of you who are not new to Mental Health Moment, you know how much I don't love snow or super. Oh, speaking of which, someone said they're tuning in from Boston. I'm sure it's not in the 80s there. But it's all good. Yeah, so I visiting is fine, but I love my sunshine, you all. So it's still very warm and toasty here. We went through a short cold front and now it's warm again, which is nice. But nonetheless, let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. It's Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. Vicksburg, Mississippi's in the house. Welcome, and thanks so much for joining here. Ooh, aloha from Hawaii. Now that is a place I would like to be right now. That sounds so nice. Virginia's in the house. Welcome. Thanks so much for tuning in again. Let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. For those of you, if you are tuning in for the very first time, we have been going through my newest book, which is Mindset Training, Conquer Your Mind, and the Rest Will Follow. Over the past couple of weeks, or maybe a couple of months, actually here, we are actually finishing up the book in the next couple of weeks, and then starting the new year, then we'll be going back to our regularly scheduled Mental Health Moment. I do want to share, though, that so some of you may have already gotten a copy of this book, which is awesome. If you have a copy of the book that looks like this, congratulations. You have a limited edition copy of the book because there's a new cover right now. It's the same exact book. Nothing has changed inside. But the new cover of the book looks like this. So if you see this, if you go to Amazon, it is on Amazon. It is updated on Amazon, which has the USA Today bestseller. Super excited about that, obviously, as an author. And the colors are a little bit different. But it is the same exact book. So I do want to let you know, if you're like, wait a minute, I went to Amazon, I didn't see this. Oops, I didn't see this one. I saw this. It's the same exact book, you all. And on other outlets, it's still being updated, so you might even still see this. But if you get this copy, you have a limited edition. If you get the new one, it's all good too. Same exact book. So I did want to let you all know that. And thanks again for those of you who are still starting to tune in here. Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. Today, we are on chapters 17 and 18 of this book. Like I said, we're almost done. Maybe you've been tuning in. If you have missed any Mental Health Moment videos over the last, I guess, couple months here, going through the book, you can always go back to Dr. Nikisha Hammond YouTube and watch any of the past episodes if you need to get caught up. Okay, so I'm going to go through highlight overview of chapter 17, which is one of my favorite things for your mental health and wellness, which is the notion of gratitude. I know that it's not a new concept to think about adding more gratitude. You've probably heard that before, but I really wanted to reinforce the idea of making sure that you think about how can you work on your own gratitude, meaning the things that you are grateful for, and also expressing that to others, because it's really two ways, if you will, when it comes to gratitude. I did talk about which I'm going to get to the questions too for you to ask yourself, for those of you who are taking notes. But I did also share my journey, and I've shared it here before, a mental health moment. But really, for me, one of the ways that I have really found beneficial with using gratitude for mental health and wellness is my morning routine, a part of my morning routine now, which is as soon as I wake up in the morning, I'm in a place of gratitude. I'm mentally in a place of gratitude. So, good evening. Thanks so much for joining in here. So what I used to do, I used to wake up and it would be like thinking about work, or trying to read my emails, or trying to be on social media, or just something else, like as soon as I woke up. Highly would not recommend that if you're doing that currently. However, and it's been a couple years now, but I really changed to thinking about, okay, when I first wake up, like what place do I want to be at mentally? And even though sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I wake up, I'm like, oh, I do think about work, or I'm stressing about something. I'm like, no, 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 no. Not starting the day like that. Let me start first with my gratitude. So for me, it's thinking of one unique thing that has happened to me. Either it could have been the day before or about to happen in the next couple of days. Usually I try to keep it within the same week, so it's something current, that, like I said, just happened or is about to happen. And saying a prayer, thanking God for that. For me, it again has nothing to do with religion. Whether whatever you believe in or don't believe in, it has nothing to do with that. When it comes to gratitude, for me, it is connected to my spiritual beliefs as well, but it doesn't have to be that way. But what I want to ask you, which was one of the questions in the book, is what do you feel like you're doing to really be in a mindset of gratitude? And no, gratitude will not solve all your problems. If only. I always say I want that magic wand, y'all. It will not solve all your problems. No, it will not. But it changes the way you look at the world when you can really be thinking about, what am I grateful for? What am I grateful for? What am I grateful for? Like on a daily basis. And this is something, like I said, I've done for the past couple years on a daily basis. I used to, many, many years ago, I used to have a gratitude journal, and I would, write in it here and there. And it was fine. I look at them now. It's so interesting. But anyhow, as we get to different ages and stages of life, what we find to be grateful for. So some of them I kind of chuckle at. And I think some of them I was in my 20s or something like that. But nonetheless, I did the gratitude journal here and there, writing it down, which there's nothing wrong with that. Start with wherever you are and what you're able to do. But for me, the daily morning practice of gratitude has been like the best way that I've found gratitude to be most beneficial. And again, we're all different. So I'm just sharing my journey with you as well. And hopefully for someone, for some of you listening to this, you're like, yes, that's what I need. That's what I need to work on. That's what I need to change. Ghana's in the house. Welcome. You know what? That is a place that I really want to visit. I was just saying that today. So welcome. Thanks for joining here. Okay, so that's one of the questions that I want you to ask yourself. The other thing is that I think I did. I bolded it in this chapter. You've heard me say this before, a mental health moment, and I will share with you once again that you are so much stronger than you know. You just are. It can be hard sometimes. I totally get it, especially if you're in a dark season right now or a challenging time, to think, like, what do I have to be grateful for? Or, this whole gratitude thing, it's very difficult, and it can be certain days. I do want to say that. But the more that you can work on getting into a mindset of still trying to find the things that you are grateful for, even though you may feel like it is raining, it's going to rain forever, which it won't, by the way, or you're in a darker, more difficult season, the better it is for your mental health. And there's plenty of studies on this, which I won't get into all the studies unless you really wanted me to. But there's plenty of studies about how gratitude can really help us physically and emotionally and mentally as well. Someone said, I am so much stronger than I know. Yes, you are. And for those of you, it's so hard. It's hard sometimes. I totally so the work that I do now as a psychologist, being in the space with mindset and talking to different communities about this work, I really get and understand that sometimes even for you to, like you typed, like I am so much stronger than I know, right? Like some of you may not believe that yet. You're like, no, I'm not. And you say so many things that are negative, but it really is true. You have to retrain your brain though to believe that. So especially when it comes to affirmations, if some of you use affirmations, that's something that I love now in this season of my life, but it's telling yourself things even if you don't believe them at first and working on retraining your brain to believe that about you because it is true, but sometimes there's a journey, right? For us to believe certain things about ourselves. Someone said, "Yes." Okay. So so the other question to ask yourself out of this chapter, and then I'm gonna go to the next chapter here, is what am I doing to stay in a mindset of gratitude? Right. So think about for yourself. There's a lot of different options when it comes to gratitude. Some of you may want to write things down. Some of you are like, absolutely not. I don't want to write nothing down, Dr. Hammond, which is all good. You may want to think about it. I might start actually, since we have a new year coming up, I might start writing down. I might start writing it down more. For me, I do it more mentally, like the every single day. What am I grateful for in the mornings? But you may want to write it down. You may want to use an app. You may want to use a journal. You may want to talk to a friend. You may want to send. I even put in here like old school thank you cards. I'm a huge fan of that. When you're expressing it to someone else, whatever way works best for you. It's just again, you're training your mind to be thinking about what is it that you're really grateful for, and it helps you put things into perspective too. Because yeah, I can go on and on about that. Actually, I'll talk about that in the next chapter. Someone said, I love affirmations. Oh, wonderful. Hi from Chicago. Welcome, welcome. Ohio's in the house. Welcome. I see a lot of you all are here from really cold climates. I was just talking about that earlier. Like I was bragging a little bit at the beginning in case you guys are just tuning in that I think, yeah, it was in the 80s today in Florida. So not to brag, but it's still pretty warm here. Okay, so that is again, there's plenty of other stories in chapter 17, but again, highlight overview for those of you just tuning in. I'm going through my newest book, Mindset Training, Conquer Your Mind, and the Rest Will Follow. Just went over chapter 17, and now I'm going to go briefly over chapter 18, and then we'll be done with mental health moment for today, and then the next 2 weeks we'll finish out the book. So we will be done with the book. Okay, so chapter 18 is about helping others, which is one of my favorite chapters in the book. Okay, so one of the questions that I get really often working in the mental health and wellness space is how do you help someone else? Like maybe you're in a dark season of your life, but maybe there's someone that maybe you're like, I'm good, Dr. Hammond, I'm in a great space mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, cool, but others around you who are struggling in some area of your life. And that can take a toll, of course, if it's someone that you care about. So how do you help others? So that's what this chapter is about. Good evening from Michigan. Welcome, welcome. Thanks so much for joining here. So one of the things that I really wanted to point out, again, depending on who this person or people may be that you're concerned with and wanting to help, is it's really important that you don't blame yourself for what that person may be going through, especially if you're really close to them, because it can be easy to get caught up in like, I could have done more, I could have said more, I should have, I should have, would have, could have type of mentality instead of working on our best way to support this person. Essentially, the one of the best ways to support people is really thinking about deep listening, which is hard sometimes, right? Because sometimes we want to fix everyone or give them advice. Sometimes someone else may not be in that place where they need that or want that, but they just want to be heard. They just want to be listened to. Um, Again, depending on who this person is, it could be someone that you know really well, so you know what they need, or let's say it was a coworker and you don't know them as well. One of the things that I preach often to people is to really ask someone, like, what is the best way that I can support you right now? Again, if it's obviously someone that you know that you feel wants to be supported in whatever it is that they're going through. But you ask someone, how can I support you? How can I best support you? Because again, the way we get support looks different for different people. Some people need you to listen. Some people do need your advice. Some people need you to help out in some other way. But helping others, that's what I talk about in this chapter. I know this book is about you and your mental health journey and wellness journey, but also when you help others, there's a bonus because you are helping someone else, but you're also helping yourself as well. There's again plenty of stories or plenty of studies on that as well of how helping others can benefit your mental health and wellness. Um, so the other thing I pointed out in this chapter is that we really have to do our best to support people and also respect their needs. Um, Again, people are healed in a lot of different ways. So it's hard sometimes. I know some people have been concerned because they're like, I really wanted this person to get therapy and they refused to get therapy, for example, right? That may or may be the case with someone that you know. Um, so though, it's really important to respect where people are at, do our best to support them, make sure we're checking in with them, make sure we're doing our best to offer resources when that person's ready to receive it. But also, again, doing our best to recognize, support, respect, and do our best to make sure that this person is thriving as best as they can. And though, know that it's not always the easiest path sometimes. Um, so let me read you some of the questions that I put in this chapter. Just something that you should be asking yourself also when it comes to, you know, am I in a space to support someone, right? So, question one, what space am I in right now? Am I in a space where I can be a light to someone? Or am I in a space where I'm working on my own healing journey and I'm so depleted and I'm so overwhelmed, right? Like which space are you in? And here's the thing. Oh, I should have said this at the beginning. Please, please, please don't judge yourself wherever you're at in your mental health and wellness journey. Please know judging yourself is, I know it's easier said than done, but it's just not as helpful rather than working through and understanding. Again, we're all at different places in our wellness journey. So if you're at a place you're like, I feel overwhelmed, I feel depleted, I don't think I can offer support to my friend, my family member, whomever it is. Maybe you need to be in a space to make sure you're taking care of yourself. Or maybe you are in a space you're like, I'm at a good point. I can help someone in some way. There's not a right or wrong to that. But you have to ask yourself, we have to have our own self-awareness of where we are at so we know how to establish boundaries if needed or how to really show up in a more meaningful way for someone and not feel guilty if you can't at the time, if that makes sense. Someone said, where again can I get the book? The book. So it's mindset training. Oops, conquer your mind and the rest will follow. You can get it on Amazon. Actually, if you get on Amazon, it looks like this. Same exact book, just a cover change. But on Amazon or Barnes and Noble, Walmart.com, booksamillion.com. So a lot of online book outlets have it. Um, so yeah, so those are some of the questions that I want you to really ask yourself when you think about, how can you help someone? And helping someone is there's such a spectrum on helping people, meaning, I mean, checking in, like let's say you send a text message. That's checking in. You could be helping someone. It goes a lot further than you know when you check in with someone, just so you know. But you might think it's something small, but it's something huge for someone else. Or you might be, really, really helping someone out in whatever way for months and months at a time, let's say. Right. There's a whole spectrum on helping someone, but you have to know too within yourself, like how much bandwidth you have, where you at in your own journey. Can you help someone without breaking down and being more depleted and more overwhelmed? The holidays are coming up here. right? So we have a lot on our plates for some of us that are celebrating different holidays coming up. So it's just I the whole purpose of this book, I hope, is for you to really get into a mindset, really think about your healing journey, whatever that looks like, and also make sure to get in a space of self awareness and understand what is best for you. And that comes in the form of, again, doing things to help yourself move forward and to thrive, and also helping others when you're able to. Okay, let me see here. Okay, I talked about that. I'm not going to talk about that because it's going to take a lot longer. There's some other stuff, obviously, that, yeah, okay. There's a lot more, but I'll stop there just so it doesn't prolong this mental health moment that much more. So that is the summary. There's a couple more things in this chapter, but in a nutshell, a couple tips to help others. Number one, don't make assumptions. That's another thing I should have said earlier. Actually, don't make assumptions. We really don't know what people are going through. I promise you, if you watch social media and you watch 20 seconds out of a person's 24 hours, you do not know what is going on in their life. I promise you that. Plus, people post a lot of things that are, yeah, just not true anyways on social media, because I've heard a lot of stories of people that told me that they do that. So let's not make assumptions about what we think people are going through, because we really don't know. Number two, don't blame yourself, which I talked about. Number three, make sure that you engage in deep listening, especially if that's what the person needs. And number four, respect where people are at in their journeys when we think about how can we help others. Yes. Okay. So that's what I got for you for 17 and 18. Next week we'll go over the next two chapters. And then the week after that, we're rounding out the year with the last chapter of the book. But again, it is mindset training. Oops, if I can put in the right frame. Mindset training, conquer your mind, and the rest will follow. Is the book. If you have it, obviously you can bring it to Mental Health Moment, highlight, take notes, whatever it is that you need. If you don't have it, feel free to grab a copy, Amazon or any other online outlets. For those of you who celebrate Christmas, you all, I cannot believe Christmas is next week. That is absolutely insane to me. I am not afraid to admit to you all, I literally started my Christmas shopping today. So don't judge me. Yeah, Christmas kind of snuck up this year. I'm like, wait, what? It's next week. It really is December 25th every year, but it snuck up this year, you all. So for those of you who do celebrate Christmas, just know that it's next week, which is insane. So make sure if you do your shopping or whatever it is you need to do, get that done for your mental health. No. So anyhow, yes, I'll be back next week, which is, what is that, Christmas Eve? Oh my goodness, that's Christmas Eve. Yes, it is. But yes, I will be back live next week on Christmas Eve at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. Have an amazing rest of your week. Be blessed. Take care of yourselves, especially in this crazy busy holiday season. And I'll see you all next week. Bye, you guys.